the MMA podcast. I'm Karyn Bryant.
What's up, everyone? Alan Jouban with you as well.
So, yeah, you know, it's a Sunday night for us, but we figured what the heck, maybe we'll talk a little fights tonight and get it going. But Alan, you know, last time we were here, you were talking about your positive test. So how are you? How's things?
Things are good. I feel like today's Sunday. I'm going to get tested tomorrow. And speaking just for myself, not everybody's kind of felt the impact of COVID differently if you've had symptoms or not, or the levity of the symptoms. And for me, it's not hasn't been that bad. It's been kind of flu-like for me. Fever, body aches have been the most things. Those kind of subsided after day 2 or 3. And since then, it's been small things. I did lose my taste for about a day, and then that came back. Never lost my smell. And I had little things like stuffy nose, sneezing, but I feel like a lot of it's gone, and I'm feeling really healthy again. Just a bit of fatigue, and so I don't know if that's just kind of something that's up here because we're thinking that we're sick or not. But I'm gonna get tested tomorrow and hopefully start seeing some negatives in the test, and hopefully be cleared next week and go back to the training, or at least even if not directly into training, just not quarantining inside my home anymore. I look forward to, because I've just been like walking around with a mask. I haven't hugged or kissed my son or my wife since I found out. And so that stuff is just really growing old. So looking forward to it. But all in all, feeling really good.
No, that's good news. I'm glad that you're on the mend and stuff. And hopefully, the next test comes back negative. That'd be good. But you know, everybody's home. So we watched the fights. You know, a lot of people were thinking Edmen Shabazzian, this could be like the big coming of age party for him. You know, he was undefeated and go up against a real opponent there. But in this case, Derrick Brunson definitely did prove that the veteran still knew some things and definitely shut him down. And I think a really commanding way at the end.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people probably saw in the beginning the way that I did, that it seemed like Edmen started off strong, and then he kind of faded in the second round a little bit. And, you know, it's easy to look at his record and say, okay, well, he's only been out of the first round one time in his career. And then he finished that fight. But all of his wins, 95% of his wins came first round finishes. So if he got the fight into the later rounds, that Derrick Brunson would have more success. But I didn't think it would be so drastic. I mean, you saw 2 minutes into the second round, Edmen really kind of like changing his demeanor, because he had that very kind of like a Russian fighter type of demeanor. I know he's not Russian, he's Armenian, but you know, he's very soft spoken. Doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's not a screamer or a yeller. Right. You know, he gets in there. He's very respectful. He's a young guy, and he shows respect to his coach and his opponent. And this way, he's a very likable guy. But you could see in his eyes, they were very telling, that he was starting to feel that deep waters. He hadn't really had too much back and forth throughout his career that he was feeling in this fight. And as the champion, Style Bender pointed out, Brunson was able to point that out. I found, take him down at the right time, get that momentum shift at the right time, bring it on pretty heavy at the right time, and you can see kind of the wind coming out of Edmen's sails in that fight.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not like a bad thing, right? I mean, because now you know what you have to learn. So it was a really good lesson for him to get. He's only 22 or something ridiculous. There's no shame in that. And then also Derrick, you know, it's been a while now. He's been with Henry Hooft, and just obviously you can see that he's maturing as well, because we've seen sometimes he'll come out and go too fast or do this or that. You know, sometimes he just doesn't always stick to look like he has a plan or whatever. This one looked very methodical. You know, I thought, that's what you're supposed to do. Mix it up, take them down sometimes, strike. I mean, I thought it was a really good performance.
Yeah, and to agree with you, what I was breaking down on the fight was not a diss toward Edmen at all, as much as it was just the pattern that I saw the fight go, because but just for our fans, because I've trained with Edmen before over at Muscle Farm, and I remember training with him because I thought when he got into the UFC that he was a welterweight. And so he was a young guy, a very nice guy, very polite guy, him and his brother. But they would show up there with Edmen, his coach, Ronda Rousey's coach. And it was always a lot of coaching. I mean, they would bring a pack of people, a lot of coaching in Armenian. You don't know what's being said, and you felt like everyone was cornering against you. But
Right.
Edmen was always very polite about the way that he went about it, sparring with you. But I thought the whole time that he's in my weight class, so I never wanted to give him an inch, is what I'm getting at.
Right.
I never wanted to let him win a single battle, but that was hard to do. The guy was very good, very tough on the feet, very big-bodied in the wrestling. He would get a takedown. We would go back and forth. So he was always very good, and I always saw the potential. And then when I saw him get to the UFC and realized, oh, this guy's an 85er, and he's smoking a lot of these high-level guys in the UFC, I realized, God, thank God. Like, that's what I was feeling inside him. So I didn't feel so bad that he gave me such a tough time. But, yeah, he's a great kid with a ton of potential, and I feel like he still will be able to climb the ranks. But it just kind of showed in that fight that the guy's only got about 9 fights. So to be in the UFC this early in his career, in his lifetime, to be in the UFC this early in his life and this early in his career, at some point you're going to hit some bumps in the road. And this was a great learning one. And I wanted to add here, I was very happy with the way that the fight stopped a bit early. It was a little bit weird, controversial, which we can get into that.
Right.
But I was glad that Edmen did not get knocked unconscious, did not suffer concussion, that it did not get prolonged to the inevitable. I'm glad that Herb Dean kind of kept his eye on things and jumped in as soon as he saw Edmen not responding correctly in that third round.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. And I think what you're alluding to before and is at the end of the second round, whether or not Herb was waving off the fight or the round, I took it as him waving off the round. I didn't take it as him waving off the fight at that point in the second round, but it did seem like, well, that was really, really, really close to a finish. And I don't know if Edmen has enough time to regroup from that attack when it looked like Derrick was so methodical, like I said, about his strategy to go late. And so it just seemed like Edmen was running out of gas and that it was gonna happen again, so, but I don't think that the fight was waved off at the end of the second.
I don't either. I agree. I thought he was waving off the round.
Yeah.
But when the round ended, and he went back to his stool, in my mind, I'm thinking, is Edmen his coach? Is he gonna throw in the towel? Like, it'd be better. You don't see that a lot, by the way.
No,
you don't see that in MMA at all. This happens a little bit more often, more frequently in boxing, where you'll save a fighter to fight another day. Not really so much in MMA. They don't literally throw in the towel anymore. You just tell the commissioner. But nonetheless, stopping the fight is kind of frowned upon in MMA. You don't really see saving the fighter because we're supposed to be these tough warrior guys, and MMA is a different class.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have been opposed to it, knowing that Edmen, the coach, this is his prized pupil. This is a student that he's seen for a very long time, and he's so young, not just in his career, but so
don't let
young
him take.
No point in taking a tremendous amount of damage and like having, as we talked about, like another hole in his ticket for later in his career. Right now, he's still fresh and no kink in his arm or his chin is so good. So I was curious if Edmen, the coach, would stop the fight. He didn't. He put a fire inside of him. But right away, we saw Herb Dean saying, no, I don't think there's anything that's going to change right here. He stopped it. And I'll say, after what happened the other weekend with Dan Hardy, Herb Dean, I don't want to say Herb Dean was wrong in the Dan Hardy incident, but after having some question marks surrounding his name, Herb Dean, I thought he really kind of justified him being one of the top refs in MMA with this stoppage and got his momentum back.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that it was over quickly in the third because he's a young guy with a whole bunch of future ahead of him, and then also for Brunson. Now that kind of reestablishes him too. And then everybody, there's a lot of middleweights that'll be like, oh man, like he's good again. You know what I mean? Like, so that, because middleweight has a lot of good guys. And he's been competitive for a very long time and maybe inconsistent, but now it looks like he might've put some things together to put some consistency together. I
think it was my old opponent, Bully, why am I blanking on his name? Bilal, thank you. I'm seeing his Instagram name, Bully or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Bilal might have said something. I think that Blonde Brunson is back in it. Something about 2.0, whatever it was saying, referring to his haircut might be the new guy. I agree,
That's funny.
man. I dug the look. I thought he fought a smart fight. Edmen has a very, what I put together in this fight, Karyn, was that watching the middleweight fight last weekend with Darren Till puts this invisible pressure that it's hard to really see what's going on, but you know that at any second he's going to cross that red line.
Yep.
He's going to cross that danger zone and attack, and he makes you very nervous if you're on the receiving end of that. Edmen does the exact same thing. Edmen has a style about him where he's always chambered. He's always ready to fire at any given point, and he's just inching in, and you can see it makes you very nervous. I felt the nerves coming from Brunson. I could feel him being kind of like uncomfortable, the way that Edmen was just stone-faced, moving forward, and he was landing shots early in the first round. Edmen, let's not forget, he won that first round. He did very well. And it makes you very nervous. So it was just Brunson being able to mix it up, tire him down, land that takedown that mixed it up. But he looked very good starting the fight, and especially the 5 minutes of the first round.
Yeah, I know you're right. Whitaker did say that after that fight, like he was so tense the whole time, because also Darren would like faint and he would bait like every time, and that it was just a very stressful fight. Yeah, makes sense.
It's little things like that the high level guys do that have a lot of success with it, and Edmen has that high level quality about him.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see what happens, and he's got obviously a huge future. So in the co-main event, Joanne Calderwood fought Jennifer Maia, and she, was supposed to get a title shot, but with Valentina being hurt, she took another fight, which is a big risk, obviously, and she lost the fight. She lost via submission in the first round, and Jennifer Maia is going to fight Valentina. Valentina even tweeted out or whatever, see you soon or see you next, and that's going to be a good fight because Maia's good, and she was, I think, underestimated or underappreciated maybe, probably by myself included. Like, she was better than I expected to see. Like, I didn't expect her to be like pow with all the combinations that tight and to land that many times. I was very, very impressed with her.
Valentina watched that fight with her phone in her hand, just ready.
Yeah.
Ready. Who am I tweeting? Who am I calling out? And sure enough, they threw it up on the screen. Yeah, I agree. I'll be honest. I didn't know that much about Maia. I wasn't that familiar with her. How many fights she's had in the UFC. But the cards that she had been on, I hadn't seen anything of her. Yeah. So I didn't know much about her, but I knew Calderwood was very good, and she's, had very good striking, very good crisp boxing. One of the more crisp boxers in the women's division. Maia came out though with a sense of like sharpness that Joanne did not have.
Right.
I don't know if it was just, sometimes you have on and off days. It was a little bit of Joanne kind of being the bigger name, being the favorite, being the person who should have been shooting to the title shot, but she said, you know what, I'm going to take a risk anyway because I'm that confident.
Right.
But Maia came in there with a sense of like urgency and sharpness, and she was a crisper striker. She was doing good in the scrambles. She seemed to be a bit faster. Everything seemed to be a bit of a step ahead of Joanne, and it just showed in the fight from the beginning to the end. And I feel bad for Joanne for taking a leap of faith and taking this fight when she had a big fight in front of her. But it's kind of a good thing, I feel, because if these girls fought 10 times and this is what would happen every time, I'm not saying that would happen, but with this fight, it proved Maia is the next person that should be fighting. She is the next best person in the division. So I'm glad that we got to see that out of her, because I didn't know who she was, and now I realize she's the next best girl in the division, and she deserved that fight with Valentina.
Yeah, no, she's very good, and I think that she will have a much more competitive fight with Valentina than Joanne would.
From what we saw, absolutely.
Based on what I saw last night, I think that the Valentina would not have been that competitive. I think she could figure out Joanne faster, because I do think that Maia had a speed advantage for sure, and Valentina would have a speed advantage over Joanne as well. So I think that it's a good thing for her, like you said. Get this lesson now. She's not going to really lose a lot in ranking. You know what I mean? She's still going to always be at the top there, and she'll be able to take this and be like, oh, now I need to just level up on this one thing, because she's obviously very good. So it's not that she isn't, able to be in a title fight. She had that nice work against the cage when she was getting her down. It just, she didn't end up being able to make anything out of it. It ended up being a great setup for Maia. But no, I mean, she's well-rounded. Just, I think that Maia just had the speed advantage on her, and just like you said, was sharper and crisper.
Yeah, you saw that. And you know, I love what you said right after. That's the same thing. And I thought was that, like, yeah, because Valentina probably would have picked that Joanne apart. So I'm glad that it's Maia, because I think Joanne is still going to be very tough in this division.
Yep.
But if she was fighting that Calderwood, then it would have been even a quicker night for her. So, yeah, Maya's the right girl. We'll see what she can do. She got a tough spot ahead of her. Not only is, you know, the champion, probably the best striker that we have in the women's division in terms of technique, but you said it, she's also one of the fastest. She doesn't waste the energy. There's so many hurdles that you have to get through to beat the champion, but maybe Maia has something planned. Maybe she can make it a ugly fight. And it's good to see that, look, she's got the boxing on the feet. She's got a good speed amount. And she's got the submission. She gets the arm bars, and she works for that arm bar too. She had it, and it got loose. She was able to tighten it back up, get the finish. So she's a very well-rounded girl, just going against one of the best in the world.
Well, it'd be cool too, because, you know, Valentina likes to counter and stuff. Like, I can see them rock'em sock'em roboting a little bit.
Yeah, it takes two to tango. It'll be a fun one.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I know you had your eyes on Vicente Luque. The dude is killing it against rude boy Randy Brown. And Randy did have some success, those long-ass legs and stuff. He did have some success sometimes. But halfway through the first round, I was like, my left leg hurts. I was like, Vicente just kept killing that leg, and then just set him up to finish. Like, he's so good. He's just been doing so great. I got to look at my email here, but he's setting like another record. You know, he's like on the top 5 or top 3 for knockouts in the division and finishes in the division. Like, he's killing it.
Luque is a very tough competitor, man. Yeah. I really like the guy. Not only is he super good every time we see him, technical, we see him put on fun fights every time, but his demeanor, when he speaks to the camera, it makes me like guys like that so much, even though he's in my division. Yeah. He's so polite. He's so honest and true to himself. He says, I'm not going to sell the fights by talking. Maybe that's not a great thing to say, but you know what? He could afford to say it because his fighting style is so exciting. And it's not like he's a mute. It's not like he's shy of the camera. He just says, look, I'm honest. I don't feel like I have to talk a bunch of trash. I like guys. I'm respectful. But I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put on a respectful fight, a fun fight. And he does it every single time. Yeah. Randy Brown is a tough competitor, tough guy in the division. He's gotten much better since his debut in the UFC. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned it, with his height and his reach and the way that he moves, he's very difficult to go against. Yeah. But with all that being said, Vicente Luque made it look kind of easy. And I see that with no disrespect, but it just shows the level that Vicente is at. Mm-hmm. I mean, right away, landing all those leg kicks, I was thinking, this is money in the bank. I mean, you got a guy with these long, skinny legs, and you land 25 calf kicks in the first round alone. Totally. Money in the bank. You can see Randy, such a tough guy, was trying to hide it. Right. And I will hide it in terms of his emotion. Right. But even after a while, he couldn't keep a straight face, and he had to start switching stances up. Totally. And once you get the leg hurt, being a headhunter like Vicente, it's just like a candy store. It's like, oh my God, I got this guy's leg hurt. Now he's thinking about it. He's switching stances. He's protecting it. Now I can start hunting the head, which is what he loves to do. He's so good at. Yeah. It was really not a perfect fight. It wasn't like it was a flawless fight. They had some back and forth, and Randy was able to keep it competitive. Yeah. But a perfect fight in terms of just going out there and doing what you wanted to do. He was able to say, I'm going to attack the leg. I'm going to attack the head. I'm gonna go for submissions. He's a very well-rounded fighter. And then I love the call out at the end. I mean, all of us love that fight. Yeah. But we haven't seen many call outs like that where you say, look, I know this guy loves big names. I may not be one. I don't talk a bunch of trash, but I'll go in there, I'll fight. And I feel like it kind of sold itself in that one. I feel like it probably sat in Dana White's head and think, you know what, this is a matchup that could work. I don't know. What did you think about that with the call out? Vicente calling out Nate Diaz. You think it's something that is an actual possibility in the future? I didn't disagree that like they could put on a fun stand-up fight. Like, right.
I didn't disagree. And I liked that he said that in all respect. Yeah. Like, I know you usually go for much bigger names and I'm not that, but yeah, I liked the idea of it. Like, I definitely liked the idea of it. I don't know if it's ever going to happen because we don't know how many more times Nate's going to fight, you know, and if it is, it's the trilogy fight. It's, you know, I'm not sure how many more times he's going to do it, but I respect the idea for sure, you know, and I think actually, yeah, it actually potentially could be really fun to watch those two.
You know, I don't think that Nate would take that fight, but I could see Dana White appreciating this fight and saying, you know what, I can make this a main event somewhere. I can make this like a BMF kind of type of build up, even though Vicente is so polite. We know that he's one of the baddest men inside the octagon in the welterweight division. So he's got that kind of going for him, but Nate needs to respond. We need nothing. If Nate stays on silent, it'll all be for nothing. But I think it was a great move. Anytime somebody like Vicente has a beautiful performance, calls out a name like Nate, and gets people like us talking, it elevates him. It elevates his status. And I think that's what it's doing, if he gets a fight or not.
Did he ever fight Pettis?
Vicente, no. No, I mean, Pettis is only, that would be a great fight.
I'd watch that.
You know, and I hate to throw Vicente one of these, but you know what? What's his name? The guy that just fought overseas, the Khabib 2.0.
Oh, Khamzat Chimaev.
You know that would be interesting because, you know, I would hate to take all that Vicente has done and give him a guy that might take him down.
That's a lot. Yeah, I don't know that I would. Yeah.
But Vicente is a worthy competitor, though, and he's the guy that said, you know what, I'll take this fight. No one wants it. I'll take this guy. And so that could be something, too. Either way, I think Vicente's stock rose dramatically after this week.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. What'd you think of the Bobby Green fight with Lando, where Bobby got his well, not revenge because it was a draw the first time, but he, you know, this time we got him here. He even got a 10-8 round, I think, in one of them.
Oh, he did?
I think so. But that fight was the fight of the night for Bobby and Lando Vannata.
Yeah, no, it was a good fight. We've talked about Bobby before. He's always kind of outspoken after. And whether you agree with him, disagree, whatever, you know, you're getting like realness. You know, you're getting a genuine guy. And so I think most people can appreciate that coming from him. Bobby Green talks a lot during his fights. You saw that during this fight. He's like talking to him during it. Little backstory on Bobby Green. So 15 years ago, probably 15 years ago when I was getting into it, I cornered against Bobby Green. And it was TFA here in LA. And I was cornering a guy named Toby Greer for the belt, for the title, fighting Bobby Green. We thought we had won. The fight wasn't over. It continued. Bobby Green does exactly what he always did. He got on Toby's back, so they ground and pounded him and talking to him. And we're in the corner watching this. Bobby Green's literally throwing punches, saying, man, I like you, man. I'm a fan of yours, man. Like, you're the shit, bro. I got to do what I got to do. And I was like, this dude's crazy, man. This dude really is a little bit crazy in the head. And then sure enough, I mean, he's had 20 fights since then, and he still does it to this day in the UFC, quiet arena at the UFC Apex, and he's just talking to his opponents, Lando, the entire time. But, yeah, I like Bobby. He's always been a tremendous fighter, tremendous competitor since I met him 15 years ago. And I like him even more today just because he's so real when he's talking about his kids or his father, whatever it is. I feel like you can relate to him in some form.
Yeah, no, I really like him. And we've worked with him before over, I don't know if you were out with me. Right,
I did one time. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. He came in his red suit and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, Bobby is one of a kind. He is the real deal. He is, you know, we were leaving Sao Paulo when he fought there, and he like lost his passport on the bus. Bobby's got something going on all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he's real. He's the real dude. And like you said, the speech afterward about his kids and like leaving this for them. And if they want, like, he's great. And he has, if people don't know his story, he has been in and out so many foster homes and all. It's a hard life. I mean, we're lucky he's alive, truly, because I think a lot of his contemporaries are not. And it's kind of crazy. But his fight style is he's just entertaining. And he's kind of like, you know, they're a good matchup in that you don't really know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? You don't know what to expect from either of them. But I find him entertaining, but I find the talking to the opponents amazing. And I love that. Like, but he's just like, he's gritty and just, you know what I mean? He's gritty. He'll do what it takes to win. He lost a lot of decisions by split decision and stuff like that, which was a tough way to go for him. So, but yeah, I like Bobby a lot.
He's an entertainer. He shows it inside the octagon. He loves to get on a microphone after and entertain us, even though it's him speaking the truth.
Yeah.
But it's very much entertaining. I like the guy, and we're glad to see him still fighting because, as you know, he's talked about retiring before, where he was upset with his career, the way things were going, not getting the split decisions to go his way, and he's had this resurgence again in his career, and he's looking great.
Yeah, for sure. Well, awesome. Well, next weekend, I'm going out to Vegas to work the Black Beast fight with Alexei Oleinik out at the Apex, which should be good. I'm already just preparing myself for the interviews with him because Derrick is absolutely hilarious. And, you know, it's either going to be Derrick by KTFO or Oleinik by choke, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, or I don't know, some hotness in the pants or some craziness. I don't know. It seems like it's been a while since we've seen Derrick Lewis fight, right? I mean, he could pull some stunt or something, but I feel like I haven't seen him inside the octagon in quite a while. So I'm glad he's getting back in there again for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. All right, well, folks, until then, you can find all of the episodes of the MMA Heat podcast at MMAheat.com. Also on MMA.audio if you want to download them. You can follow producer Wade Eck. You can follow MMA Heat everywhere. On Instagram, I'm KB Heat. On Twitter and everywhere else, Karyn Bryant. Alan, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, and follow me as well, guys, at Alan Jouban, all social media platforms. And thank you guys for tuning in again.
Take it easy, everybody.
Take care, guys.